Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Sheila, and in today's project we are going to be learning how to make a very simple crop top using the Tunisian crochet stitch. Most of you know I'm in love with this stitch recently. I just learned it, so I'm trying out several projects using that particular stitch, and this is one of them, and it's very straightforward. So for the materials, you'll need any chunky yarn. I'll be using this, and then a 6mm crochet hook, which is a J hook, and then a pair of scissors and yarn. Yes, I said crochet hook because I'm using crochet hooks to do the Tunisian stitch, since I can't access the Tunisian crochet hooks. So let's begin. So I'm going to be using the color brown. It's a mixture, it's in between brown and orange. So we're going to start off with a slip knot like this, and now we're going to chain up 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. So we have 8 stitches across. So if you're a size small to medium, this is okay. Then if you're a size large, you may consider going up to 10. If you're a size extra large, you may do 12, and XXL still 12. So for now I have 8 chains, and I'm going to go into the second chain from my hook. And for Tunisian crochet, this is the very first stitch, so we don't go into the first loop. So go into the very second chain from the hook. So not this one, but this one. Insert your hook, pull through, go into the next space, insert your hook, pull through, go into the next chain, pull up a loop, go into the next chain and pull up a loop, and continue to do this all the way across until the very last chain. So the number of chains that you have on your hook should be the number of loops on your hook should be the same number of chains that you did in the beginning. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you had 12, you should be having 12 loops on your hook. So we're going to do a return pass. So yarn over, pull through 1. And then for all the rest, you're going to be yarning over and pulling through 2 until the beginning of the row. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2, and through the last 2. So this is what we have for our row 1. So we are going to row 2, and we are going to be increasing on only one side of our work. So choose which side. So for me, I'll be increasing on this side for my very first panel. So yarn over, this is our increase. So if it was normal and we weren't going to increase, we would have gone straight into that loop like this. But since we are increasing, we are going to yarn over, insert our hook in that next loop, pull up a loop, go into the next loop, pull up a loop, and continue to do that all the way across. So this is our second last stitch, and the very last stitch is this one. So you're going to turn to the side. Since we are not increasing on this side, we just go into the last stitch, go into both loops, pull up a loop. So we are increasing by 1 stitch every row. So you should be having 9 loops on your hook. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you can see we've increased from 8 to 9. So yarn over, pull through 1, and then pull through 2 for all the remaining ones. Yarn over, pull through 2. And now after this, we're going to repeat row 2 for a particular number of rows. So remember we start with a yarn over and then go into this. So since this is the very first stitch of our Tunisian crochet stitch, we don't go into this loop, we skip this. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next loop, pull up a loop, go into the next, pull up a loop, into the next, pull up a loop, and continue to do that. So since this is row 3, you should be having, so this is the second last stitch, so you insert your hook in the very last stitch, make sure you go into both loops and pull up a loop. So we should be having a total of 10 stitches now. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. So yarn over, pull through 1, and then for all the remaining ones you're going to yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, all the way across. So after that we're going to keep repeating this row until we have a total of 25 rows. So these are only 3 rows. The way I count my rows is like I count these loops. So 1 2, this is the third. So far we've done 3 rows, and you're going to go ahead and do a total of 25 if you're a size small to medium, and if you're a size large you may consider increasing to around 28, and if you're a size XL you may consider doing a total of 30 rows. So I'm going to go ahead and keep working this row until I have a total of my 25 stitches, because I'm doing a size medium. So just continue to repeat row 2 until you have a total that you need for your size. Make sure your oar is increasing on one side. And after this you'll notice that your work is starting to slant on this side. So we are increasing on this side, so your work should be moving towards this side, and this side should be straight. So let me go ahead and do my 25 rows, and I'll be showing you how my work looks like after that. So this is my work at the end of the 25th row. This is how my work looks like. You can see we increased on this side, and now after this you're going to if you have another ball of yarn, you can go ahead and get a new ball of yarn, and you start working on the second panel. I don't want to break off my yarn because I'll need it later when I'm going across the top. So if you don't, then you can fasten off and cut your yarn, but I'm not going to. I'm going to get another ball of yarn. So we are back, and we are going to be doing the second panel of the top. We're going to start off the same exact way as the first panel. So chain the same number of chains that you did for the other one. So for me it was 8. So slip knot, then chain 8, and then go into the second chain from the hook, pull up a loop, pull up a loop in the next one all the way across, and this is what you should have. So we are doing the return pass, yarn over, pull through 1, and for all the rest you're going to yarn over, pull through 2. So this is what you should have. And now we are going to start increasing, but this time we are going to increase on the opposite direction from the one that we did for the first panel. So for the first panel we did increases on this side, so for the second panel you will be doing increases on this side. So let's begin. This time we are not going to yarn over for this panel. You're going to go straight into that next loop, pull up a loop, go all the way across, and before you go into the very last loop, the very last stitch, you're going to yarn over and then insert your hook in the very last stitch, both loops, don't forget. Pull up a loop. So you notice that you're having 9 stitches on your hook instead of 8. That means we've increased by 1 stitch, but the difference is this time we've increased on this side, the side where the hook is pointing. So yarn over, pull through 1, then yarn over, pull through 2 for all the remaining ones. So that's the only difference between the first panel and the second panel. Then for row 3, go into the next loop. Don't forget, we don't go into this very first loop because this counts as the first stitch. So you start your row from this second loop. So pull up a loop in each and every stitch. Like that. And before you go into your very last stitch, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook in the very last stitch, pull up a loop, and then yarn over, pull through 1, and then continue to yarn over, pull through 2 for all the remaining ones. So I hope this change has been very easy for you since you already know how to work the first panel. I'm going to go ahead and do some more rows until I get the same number of rows that I have for my very first panel, and then I'll get back and show you what I have. So this is row 4. You're going to go ahead, since I had 25 rows for my first panel, I'm going to go ahead and do a total of 25 rows for my second panel. So you can notice that your work is now slanting to this side, not this side. This side should be straight. So go ahead and do the same number of rows that you did for your first panel, and then we'll get back to this. So this is my second panel. As you can see, it's slanting to this side, and I did a total of 25 rows, and I fastened off here. I just chained 1 and then cut my yarn and pulled through. So let me introduce my very first panel that I made. This is what we have. So the reason I didn't cut my yarn on this side is because I'm going to go all the way across, and I can't go all the way across when this is in the middle. That's why I cut this yarn. So I'm going to go all the way across, and you're going to have 2 panels joined together. At this point, we are going to do some more rows while joining the 2 panels together. So go to your first panel, and you're going to go into the second stitch. This time we're not increasing, so go into the second stitch. We're not yarning over. Pull up a loop in the second one, in the third one, and all the way across. So we are done with the increases. That means we are not yarning over anything. We're just pulling up loops in each and every stitch all the way across the first panel, and then we move into the second panel at the same time. And for row, let me say you're making a size medium, row 26 will join the 2 panels together. I'll be showing you how. So pull up a loop all the way across the first panel, go into the very last stitch, pull up a loop, and now you're going to grab your second panel like this, and you're going to insert your hook in the very first stitch here, but this time you're going to go like this into both loops because it's at the edge, and pull up a loop like that, and then continue to pull up a loop in each and every stitch across. So you should notice the tension of stitches on your hook, but don't mind about that. Just make sure they don't run off your hook. That's all. So I'm continuing to pull up a loop from my second panel. So if you see you don't have enough space at the front of your hook, just slide your work a bit to the back of the hook, but make sure they don't, the stitches don't run off the hook. Make sure this finger here is holding the end of the hook tightly so that we don't lose our stitches. So like this, and I'm going into my very last stitch and pulling up a loop. So yarn over, pull through one, and then for all the rest you're going to yarn over and pull through two all the way across. Yarn over, pull through two. So when you get here, make sure you don't lose anything. Just continue to yarn over, pull through two all the way across. So this is what we have, and at this point we've joined this loop to this loop. I'll be using this strand to join this totally, but for now this is what we have. We've joined the two panels together, and this is what you should have. So from now on you're going to just do plain rows of no increases, because we want just the top to get some length, but we are not increasing the width of our top. So we are going to repeat row 26 until like you get the length that you want for your top. So don't yarn over, just go into the next loop and pull up a loop, and do that all the way across, just like we did for row 26. I'm going to repeat that until I get the length that I need for my top. So you go all the way across the top from the first panel onto the second one, because now we've joined the two. That means we don't have separate panels. If you're to do a row, you have to go all the way across both panels, because row 26 joined the panels together. So let me go ahead and do some more rows, and I'll be back and I'll be telling you how many rows that I added. So I'm back and I did a total of 5 rows at the bottom. That means the total number of rows right from the beginning is 30 rows. And now after this, you're going to do as many rows as you want your top to be. The length of the top will determine how many rows that you're going to do, the length of the top that you want. So after this, we're going to do our very final row. So after achieving the length of the top that you want, we're going to be doing the bind off. For this, you can see we have very big loops at the base and we want to close them up. So you're going to directly go into this like as if we are going to work a normal stitch, pull up a loop and pull through all. So go into the next loop, pull through both loops, and we're going to do this all the way across. This is just to close up those big gaps at the base of the top. So you can see what we have here and what we have here. So you're going to go all the way across and I'll meet you guys at this point. So we've gone all the way across and this is how your work should look like at the base. And now I'm going to go into my very last stitch and pull through this loop, and then I'll chain up one and cut my yarn. That marks the end of the base of our top, and this is what you should have at the moment. We shall get back to this later, but for now we are going to be working the upper part of the top. So we're going to be joining both panels just like we did for the bottom side. You can see this. So this is the right side of your work and this is the wrong side of your work. So you're going to attach your yarn at this point, at this corner, on the right hand corner of the top. So slip stitch there, and then you're going to go into these stitches here. So pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch and pull up a loop, and continue to do that all the way across. And then you go into the very last stitch and pull up a loop. So you're going to have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, since we had 8 stitches at the beginning. And then you're going to get your other panel, and then you're going to insert your hook in the very first row, somewhere around here, because you want it to be attached totally. So in there, pull up a loop, go into the next, pull up a loop, and then go into the very last stitch and pull up a loop. So you should have a total of 16 loops on your hook. Yarn over pull through 1, yarn over pull through 2, 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 and all the way across. So at this point we've joined both panels at the top, and this is what we have. So the other thing that I want to do is to get a short strand. Just get a very short strand of yarn. You're going to remove your hook from here because you're going to do a turtleneck. So attach your yarn at this point in the very last stitch and make a chain of 10. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10, and then chain 1 and make this tight. This doesn't count as a chain. Then you're going to go back to this, and you're going to make a chain of 10 on this side. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. So go into the second chain from the hook. So here, pull up a loop and continue to pull up a loop in each and every chain all the way across. This is the part that's going to rest in our neck section. So continue to pull up a loop, and then when you get here, you're going to go into this very fast, because now it's a stitch, because the row doesn't begin from here. So go into it and pull up a loop and go all the way across. Okay, pull up a loop. So this is all we are going to do all the way across. And when you're done with your second panel, remember we created 10 chains. Here we have this very last stitch. Make sure you go into it and pull up a loop, and then go onto the chain and start pulling up loops into each and every chain. We have 10 chains on this side. Make sure you work in each and every chain to balance what you did on the other side. So I'm in my very last stitch, my very last chain, and now we're going to do the return pass. So yarn over, pull through 1, then yarn over, pull through 2 in all the remaining ones all the way across. So this is what we have, and your work should be looking something like this. And so we're going to do some more rows, no increases, no decreases. So go into the next loop and pull up loops all the way across. So I'm going to go ahead and do some more rows, and then I'll meet you guys back when I have that, and I'll let you know how many rows that I did for my neck. So I did a total of 5 rows, and you can see we still have the big loops here. I'm going to go ahead and do the bind off. So if you don't remember, you just go into the next stitch, like we are going to work a normal stitch, yarn over and pull through all loops, and then go into the next, yarn over and pull through all. So we are going to just do that all the way across, and then I'll show you what to do next. Remember, this just closes up these big gaps at the end of the row. So after this row, you're going to chain up 1 and cut your yarn. So that marks the end of the turtleneck. And now I consider the base of the work knit, and I also consider the top of my work knit. But then on the sides, I'm not very sure it's that neat, so I'm going to go all the way back and forth, placing neat stitches of single crochets so that the edges can be really neat. So you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and into the 5th, which is the corner, you're going to attach your yarn. So I'm working on the right side of my work. This is the wrong side, remember? So I'm going to work a row of single crochets. So I'm going to place 2 single crochets here at this corner, and then 1 single crochet in each and every stitch all the way up. So go ahead and do that, and as I work, I'm weaving in this tail at the back. So 1 single crochet in each and every stitch all the way up to the turtleneck. One single crochet all the way up. And then when you get up towards the turtleneck, I'm going into my very last stitch. So we have a row of single crochets here, and when you get up here, I'll place 1 single crochet in that row just before the turtleneck, and then I'll skip this and go into the next space with a slip stitch, then slip stitch once into the next space, turn your work, and now we are working on the wrong side, and this is going to be our very last row because I want to create spikes. So single crochet in the first single crochet in the next, and then you're going to chain up 3 and slip stitch at the base of the single crochet like that, then single crochet in the next 3 stitches and create a spike. So these spikes are going to be at the edge of our work. So 1, 2, 3, slip stitch at the base of the single crochet like that, and continue to do that all the way down. Single crochet in the next 3 stitches, chain 3, so I'm done with this side, and I'm going into my very last stitch, which was this first single crochet that we made, and I'm going to single crochet there and chain 1 and cut my yarn. And after this is how my work looks like on the edge. And now I'm going to do the same on this side. The only difference is you first work on the right side. So this time we're going to be starting from this side and then we come back up. So we're going to attach our yarn in this stitch, which is part of the turtleneck, somewhere around here. Attach your yarn, and then you're going to single crochet all the way down. Single crochet once in each and every stitch all the way to the corner at the base. So I hope you still remember the corner. The corner is at this point when we stop reducing. So single crochet all the way down, and in the very last stitch you'll do 2 single crochets. So I've already placed my first one, this is my second one, and that's done. So we are going to chain 1 and turn our work, and now we are going to do the row of spikes. So 1 single crochet in the first, 1 single crochet in the second, and then chain up 3, slip stitch at the base of the single crochet, single crochet in the next 3 stitches, chain 3, slip stitch at the base, single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So that's the repeat for this row all the way up until you reach the turtleneck, and I'll show you where to slip stitch. So when you get done with your row, you're going to just go into the next space, not this one where the slip stitch was. You're just going to find a space after that and slip stitch there, and then you're going to chain up 1 and cut your yarn. So this marks the end of the edges on the sides, and this is what we have right now. You're going to stretch your work a bit. This is how the spikes look like on the edges. Now we're going to be attaching our yarn in the middle. We also want it very neat. This is okay. If it's okay for you, well and good. It's actually fine. I think I'm not going to be working a row all the way around because I think this is neat enough. So the next thing that we are going to do is to make a chain of 25. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14. So we have our 25 chains, and we are going to go to this corner of our turtleneck, attach to the first stitch here, and make a slip stitch, slip stitch in the next stitch, slip stitch in the next stitch, slip stitch in the next stitch, and then slip stitch in the last stitch there, and then you're going to chain up 25. And after this, you're going to cut your yarn. So since I'm using chunky yarn, I'm not going to do any designs, or I'm not going to go back on that chain because the strands are already thick. So this is what we have. You're going to do the same thing on this side, chain 25, attach here, slip stitch all the way up, and chain 25. And then I'll show you how to do the base chains. So for the bottom part, just like we've done here, you're going to chain up 65, and then you go to the corner here and make a single crochet in each and every stitch across. 1 2 3 4, and the 5th one is in these stitches that we created here on the edges. So after your 5 stitches, I'm going to slip stitch here and then make a total of 65 chains. 4 5 6 7 8 9. So let me go ahead and do my 65 chains and I'll get back. So I'm done with my 65 chains, and this is what I have right now. And you're going to go ahead and do the same exact thing on this other side. And after that, it's time to weave in the ends, and I'll start with this one in the middle. So this is the back side of our work. You can see it's also pretty. I'm going to just join up a few stitches here because it created a hole in the middle. So I'm just going to go into a few stitches. just back and forth, and make sure it can't undo itself. So and after this you're going to cut your yarn. So we are going to go ahead and do that for all the loose strands lying around the top. We have all these. We are going to make sure we get rid of them, and after that I'll get back. So this is how the top looks like at the end after weaving in all the ends and also cutting the strands at the edge. I'm left with this one. I had skipped it, but I'll work on it later. And yeah, this is how basic and simple this top is. Let me know if you would want me to make a crochet version, the normal crochet version of it, because I can. And then also let me know if you liked this tutorial. So you'll get a simple curl here, but I'm very sure when you wear it, it won't be there, so nothing to worry about. This is just a simple crop top that you can easily wear to festivals with jeans or a skirt. Anything can work with this top. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.